Best Bets is brought to you by BUSR, the official sportsbook of Matt O'Leary NY. Get a 100% match deposit bonus plus 25 casino chips when you sign up using my link, busr.com/Matt. That is busr.com/Matt for a 100% deposit match bonus and 25 casino chips. Let's get into the show. Hello and welcome back to another year of Best Bets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary. I am joined with Newsday's NFL picks columnist since 2015, Joe Manniello. Joe, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, man, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
Here we go again.
Can you believe it's year 4 of doing this already? I feel like it's flown by.
Really has.
Absolutely. And it's that time of year. Week 1 of the NFL season is going to be here. And we get to run through. So if people are new to the program, I'll just give a quick description of what we usually do here. We do the locals, Jets, Giants. We have a game of the week, best bet, underdog pick. We're going to give an extra pick this week we're going to do an extra 6th pick. And then since it's our first episode, we'll run through with like playoff predictions and stuff like that. So let's get this thing rolling. We'll do the Jets and the Ravens first. They play at 1:00. This spread is up to 7.5 now. What's your take here, Joe?
Yeah, I don't feel great about this game. I wish we didn't have to pick it for our segment, but because we're in New York, we got to pick it.
Right.
We thought Zach Wilson a few weeks ago. We thought Zach Wilson was going to start, and he got hurt. I never thought he was going to play, so I wasn't shocked that he wasn't going to, start week 1. But the big news today was he's not going to start till week 4. So I know you weren't happy about that, but
No.
I'm still going to take the points. I just feel 7.5. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Jets made a lot of upgrades in the offseason. They really improved the secondary, Sauce Gardner, and I like Robert Saleh's defense, and they also upgraded the receiving room. So I think that 7.5 is just too much. Like Baltimore, it's all about Lamar Jackson. I mean, if he goes off, then forget about it. But I think they've known they're playing them since a couple months ago, so they've been game planning for them for a while. I think they can keep them, it's not going to be a blowout. So I think 7.5 is just way too many points on the road. And I think the Jets will keep it close. I think people underestimate the moves they made, and they were better than their record was last year. And Flacco, I mean, who knows with Flacco, I don't think there's much, the whole revenge factor there. It's not like Baker Mayfield against the Browns, because it's so far removed. But I just think 7.5, way too many points. So the Jets can keep it close and lose like a 24-20 kind of game, 2017. I don't think the Ravens are a dominant team where it's going to come in there and blow them out in week 1. So give me the Jets plus 7.5.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you here right out of the gate. We're going to go Jets plus 7.5 too. I agree with you. I think it's way too many points. Now the Ravens, I like them this year. I think they're going to be a good team, but in week 1, especially because there were so many injuries on this team last year, they're really banged up. So it's been a while since these guys have come out there and really played a full game together with, the whole offensive line. J.K. Dobbins is coming back and he's a little bit banged up. So I don't think they're going to be like full systems go right out of the gate. It might take them a week or two. So if you're going to get the Ravens at any point throughout the year, I think getting them earlier helps. I agree with you. I don't think the Jets probably have enough to win this game. I think Flacco will keep it close. I agree. I think it's going to be low scoring, like 23-20, 2017, something like that. And I think both teams are going to try to run the ball a lot. Obviously, the Jets added Breece Hall in the draft. I think he's going to be, a bell cow back for them. And we know how much the Ravens like to run the ball. But you mentioned Robert Saleh's defense. I think some key additions, whether it be Sauce Gardner or linebacker Quan Alexander, should help in the run game. So I think it's a close one, but I think the Ravens win but don't cover here at MetLife Stadium this week. So I'm going to agree with you there.
I also think that I meant to mention that I remember on draft night when the Ravens traded Hollywood Brown, Lamar Jackson was like angry about it. He was angry tweeting. So I remember saying to myself, when you start your week 1 column, remember that, because I feel like his first game, he's gonna miss his favorite receiver.
Yeah, he very well could. I don't really like that receiving core too much beyond
Yeah.
beyond what they did there. So I agree. Let's go to the other local. The Giants are going down to Tennessee to take on the Titans. This point spread is at 5.5. What's the feel here?
I may regret this pick at 5:30 on Sunday afternoon, but I like the Giants in this game a lot. I think they might win this game, 5.5. I think they're also underestimating the Giants. I think Brian Dable, he's gonna such a huge upgrade over the last few coaches, Joe Judge and McAdoo and Shermer. I think Dable's gonna have such a big influence on Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. I feel Barkley's gonna have a huge year. If you heard his comments from a couple weeks ago, he's in screw it mode. I think he's gonna go off. And the Titans, to me, I feel like they're overrated. I mean, they're Derrick Henry or a bust kind of team. If you can contain Derrick Henry, and that's not easy, but if you can keep him to 120 yards, no 90-yard runs, and like he does against the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, I think if you can keep him to average numbers, or not average, but very good instead of great numbers, you can beat the Titans. They don't really have any dominant receivers. They lost AJ Brown to the Eagles, and Landry, their pass rusher, is out for the season. They're home, so they should win the game. I think the Giants are a live dog in this game, 5.5. I think they might win the game. And before looking at the Giants' schedule, I didn't realize this. They don't play another true road game until I think week 7, because they play 3 in a row at home. Then they play Green Bay and London in week 5. And I don't think they play another actual true road game at another place, another team stadium until week 7. So they can steal a win here on the road and get 3 straight games at home. Who knows? This could be a surprising start for them. I just feel that they don't have a ton of pieces on defense. That's an issue, but I like Dable's offense, and I feel like they're gonna start strong here and surprise some people. So I guess I'll call. Yeah, give me the Giants. Who cares?
There you go.
Let's go crazy. Give me the Giants for upset win here. Shock the world. 27-24, something like that.
Okay, I'm not as confident in you in this game. I'm gonna go with the Titans here. And while I agree that I really like both the additions of Brian Dable and Joe Shane from Buffalo, I think they're gonna get this team going in the right direction. I think what really scared me was last week. It was Joe Shane he had comments where he was essentially saying these are the cards we're dealt. It is what it is, kind of, for this year, and that's not really a vote of confidence going into week 1 of the season for his team. But I think, especially against a team that runs the ball as well as the Titans, I think is going to be an issue for this Giants team, because the linebacker position's a little weak now. They moved on from Blake Martinez. And they lost a rookie who they were high on, who they drafted. He's done for the year. So we have guys like, Leonard Williams is really good at clogging up the middle. And their defensive line's pretty good, but I worry about that linebacker crew. I think if not Ryan Tannehill, if, Derrick Henry gets to this, gets to the second level, I think it could be a long day for this Giants defense. So I'm going to go something like 27-17. They hang around a little bit, but I think the Titans pull it out in the end and win by 10 points.
Oh, wow, 10 points.
As for our game of the week, this should be a fun one. It's Sunday Night Football, Bucs and Cowboys. The Cowboys are home. The Bucs are favored by 2.5. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I don't have a great feel in this game, because I feel both teams are banged up on the offensive line. So who knows what's going to happen in this game? But I'm going to go with Todd Bowles' blitzing defense against the Cowboys' undermanned offensive line. I think it'll be a close game, similar to last year's NFL opener, that thriller on Thursday night with 31-29 Tampa Bay win. I could see it being another close, 3-4 point game. I'm going to side here with Brady and the Bucs. I feel like his whole training camp, hiatus is overblown. It's not a big deal. He's 45. Like he said, he's got stuff going on. I don't think that's a big deal. I think they'll be ready. And I'm not, I don't think we're both not huge fans of Mike McCarthy as a coach.
Nope.
And I think Todd Bowles' defense will get the best of Dak Prescott because of the offensive line. But I do think it will be close. Dallas is home. And I writing my column last night, I looked it up. Brady has great numbers in prime time. I think he's 55-25 in night games. And for his career, what it's worth, he's 21-4, I'm pretty sure, against the NFC East, and 6-0 against the Cowboys. He never lost to the Cowboys. So I think that trend continues here, and the Bucs win a close game. So give me the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Bucs as well, -2.5. I think it would be relatively close, but how could you not take Tom Brady and the Buccaneers with just. I get that there's been some controversy, if you want to call it that, with Tom Brady stepping away from the team for a little bit, and then coming back. And the Bucs offensive line, they've had a couple of injuries in the offseason, but I feel like if there's anyone where that's not going to matter for, it's Brady, because it feels like anytime there's ever adversity or someone begins to question him, that's when he goes right out and then goes on one of these unbelievable runs. I think this is a good matchup for Todd Bowles' team. As you mentioned, the Cowboys offensive line is also banged up. Bowles loves to blitz. This Tampa Bay defense is still going to be very, very good. And I love the firepower at the wide receiver position that Tampa Bay has. I think it goes maybe a little back and forth, but I'm going to end up going maybe like 26-20 with a 6-point win for Tampa Bay to start off their season.
Yep.
Let's go over to a best bet. What's one that jumps out to you that you're pretty confident in this week?
Well, it's week 1, so I feel like none of these games really jump out to you, and I'm happy to say none of them really do say, oh my God, you got to take me. But there's one game I was looking it over, and sometimes I don't like to take a best bet that's kind of obvious, because I feel like, if you're writing a column or if you're doing a podcast, you should try to give, not the most obvious pick, But this isn't that obvious, but I'm going to take a team here that I think is going up against a really bad team, and it's a lot of points to lay on the road in the division game, but I think they're going to cover here easily. The Saints at the Falcons. I think the Saints minus 5.5.
Yeah, it is 5.5.
It's going to be a long season for the Falcons. Marcus Mariota, not many threats on offense. And the Saints, 5.5 is a lot to lay on the road. But sometimes we overvalue the point spread. I feel like they're going to win this game by 7 easy, probably double digits. Dennis Allen's a defensive guy. They got a lot of playmakers on defense. I think they'll frustrate Mariota all game. I don't know if they can score 17 points. So all I basically need is the Saints to score in the low 20s, and I cover here. Jameis Winston, first game back. I think there's a lot of motivating factors here. The Saints have won 4 of the last 5 against Atlanta. And like I said, Atlanta's just a really bad team, I think. So this feels like an easy cover. So Saints minus 5.5, best bet.
All right. That's interesting. That's a game that I really don't want to touch. Not because I think the Saints probably win and maybe end up covering, but I think it's too many points on the road in division game. That one scares me a little bit. So I'm going to stay away from that one. The one that I'm going to go with, it's a divisional game. It's a rivalry matchup, and it's the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. The Dolphins are favored by 3.5. Would have liked it at 3, but I'll even take it with a half point at Dolphins minus 3.5. For whatever reason, Miami absolutely owns the Patriots at home in recent years, and it was a huge offseason for the Miami Dolphins. They bring in Tyreek Hill. They have a new coach in Mike McDaniel, who I think is a really, really good young and up-and-coming offensive mind. And it's a huge year for Tua. And to be honest with you, yes, Mac Jones played well as a rookie, and Bill Belichick is the greatest coach to ever do it. But I think that roster took a little bit of a step back. I don't think they have the corners to keep up with the firepower that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle brings for the Miami Dolphins. So I think they cover this one pretty easy and win by a touchdown. I'll go something like 27-20 Dolphins win as my best bet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How about an underdog? What's one that jumps out to you that is an underdog pick?
All right, here's one. So a couple weeks ago, when the Panthers announced Baker Mayfield as the starter, I couldn't get on Twitter fast enough to tweet how he was going to go off for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, great revenge game. But now 2 weeks have passed, and the overreaction has faded. And I actually like the Browns in this game. Okay. I think they're the much better team. Well, not much better, but they're the better team. And Jacoby Brissett, he's serviceable, filling that quarterback. And, I think we both sometimes overplay the whole revenge thing. And you got to think about it. Like the Browns, they don't want to lose to Baker Mayfield either. You think they want to go in there and lose to the guy who can't stand them? I think they want to beat him just as bad as he wants to beat them. So I think when you're getting points with the better team, you got to scoop them up, even if it's a road game. The Panthers have underachieved under Matt Rule. I thought he was going to be a really good coach, but he's been underwhelming.
Yep. And
I think the Browns have a better team, better defense, and I think it'll be close, because neither team is dominant, and they're not, they don't have Watson in there. So I don't know, maybe like a 2014, 2017 low scoring game. I think the Browns will win the game. And like I always say, if you think a team's going to win and they're getting points, it's the golden rule of picking. You always pick that team. So I'm going to go with the Browns plus 2.5 to win the game outright.
Okay. Yeah, that one's an interesting one. I think I would probably stay away from that one, but if I had to make a pick on it, I honestly think I would take the Panthers, even though they're not the better team. I agree with Cleveland's better, but something about Baker, man. He takes things to heart and wears his heart on his sleeve. So I think he's gonna really want to stick it to him. I'm playing into the narrative. I
I
might be
agree.
a
I just don't
sucker.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. One that I'm going to go with for the underdog, who I also think could win outright, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars against Washington. Some change in Washington. They now will be starting Carson Wentz, but I kind of like this Jacksonville team. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a lot better this year. Getting out from under Urban Meyer is going to do him wonders. They bring in Doug Peterson, who I think is a really good head coach, and I think he's going to get this team on track. They spent a ton of money in the offseason. I don't know if all of it was smart money, but I think they are going to be much improved offensively. They are getting Travis Etienne back this year, who they didn't have at all last year, who obviously Trevor Lawrence played with at Clemson. They had a really nice connection. And I think they could win this game against Washington, who they have a pretty good defense, but I don't know. They don't really do much for me. And I think the Jaguars could surprise some people here in week one.
And Peterson also has, inside knowledge on Wentz. He used to be a coach in Philly, so I think that favors Peterson more than it favors Wentz.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there too. So I'm gonna steal that note from you. That's a good one. I somehow forgot about that connection, but you're right. Yes, he was his coach in Philadelphia. So
Etienne, did he not play last year? Or was he hurt early on? I forget.
who was that? What?
The guy from Clemson, Etienne. Which,
ETN. Yeah, he had a Liz Frank injury last year, so he didn't play at all. Yeah,
he didn't play at all. Okay.
yeah. So they're gonna get him back, and a nice 1-2 punch with James Robinson in that backfield. I think it
Yeah, I
works
think
out.
they might be better than people think.
All right, what's this bonus pick that you want to throw in here?
Well, I had originally my original underdog pick was another team, and then I took the Browns, and I messaged you my pick. I said, it's week one. Let's just go with 6. This is like I said, you want to give people a bit of a not so obvious pick, and they might be like, "Whoa, what's going on with this guy?" But I don't know. Something about this line, I don't like it. Another revenge game. Russell Wilson at Seattle. Seattle's getting 6.5, right? Can you double check, make sure that's right?
Yes, it is.
I think that's way too many points. I think same thing with the whole feeding into the narrative. How Russell Wilson, he's gonna, he's unbelievable. If you look at his numbers, he's like basically unbeaten. Hard to beat in Seattle on Monday night. And now he's going against the whole team. But that's a lot of emotion there. Pete Carroll knows him well, obviously. I don't think he's just going to go in there and win the game 35-10. And that just doesn't happen in the NFL. And I like that, it's week one, so they've had all month to, basically all camp to plan for this. Do you think DK Metcalf wants to lose to Russell Wilson?
No.
Smith, obviously, he's not, it's his first, starting job since 2014. Filled in a couple times last year. But he's not, I don't think he's awful. I mean, I think he can, lead the team to offense to 17, 20 points. But I don't think the Seahawks are, I don't think it's going to be a long year for them. They're probably going to win 4 or 5 games, 6 games. But I don't think they're going to be awful early on. I just don't like the idea that people think that, Russell Wilson is going to storm, right in there on the, on his horse and just absolutely torch him. I just don't see it. It doesn't happen in the NFL. And I think Pete Carroll will have his guys fired up. One of the best motivated, master motivators in the NFL. So I think the Seahawks keep this close. They lose, but not by double digits. So if they lose by 7, so be it. But I think 6.5 is way too many points. So give me Seattle as a bonus pick.
Okay, I'm not as confident in Seattle. I like the storyline of Russell coming back, but maybe I'm exactly who the sportsbook needs. I play into the.
Well, I like the storyline too. I love that stuff, but
yeah,
it's just from doing the column, it rarely happens. And I feel like going back, I don't have the exact numbers, but every year early on, especially week 1, week 2, underdogs dominate for the first 3-4 weeks, the first month. Like it's like 25 games over against the spread. It feels like that at least. I have to go back and check, but because the books are still getting, they don't 100% know. They're still getting acclimated, and they're relying on people to, bet, teams like Kansas City or Green Bay, really good teams that they're used to betting. So there's so much that has to even out.
Yeah, absolutely. For my extra pick, I want to go with Green Bay getting they're -1.5, excuse me, against Minnesota. It's a road game, but I think with Aaron Rodgers with a spread of only 1.5 points is pretty appetizing to me. I know it's a divisional game, and a lot of times, you go with the home divisional team if they're an underdog, but this isn't enough points for me to bite. on that. I think the Vikings will be okay this year, but I really look at Green Bay as a team that's going to be looking to contend for a Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers, obviously, back-to-back MVPs. He's put up monster numbers. No Devontae Adams is going to hurt, but I don't know how much it's going to matter. I think he could throw to just about anyone and put up some pretty nice production. And they have two pretty good running backs, so I think they might try to run the ball a little bit more this year. But I think they win this game pretty handedly, even though it's on the road. So that spread kind of threw me, so I jumped on it.
Actually, I like Minnesota in that game, but yeah,
Okay.
I like Minnesota. But I mean, I hear you. Green Bay, it's tough to bet against Rodgers when it's only basically pick them.
Absolutely. So let's get into, since like I said earlier, it's week 1. Let's go through. We'll do what we think the playoff picture is going to look like, division winners, wild card. We'll go through title games and a Super Bowl pick. I'll get us started. So for my division winners, I have in the AFC, I'll go with the Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, and Colts as the 4 division winners. And my wild card teams are going to be the Bengals, Chargers, and Broncos. And my AFC title game is the Ravens over the Buffalo Bills, which the Bills are a very, very popular Super Bowl pick. They're the Super Bowl favorites this year, but I think Baltimore had a really good draft, and I think Lamar is going to be extremely motivated this year. And then on the NFC side for the division winners, I have the Bucks, Rams, Packers, and Cowboys winning their divisions, and the 49ers, Eagles, and Saints as my wild card teams. My NFC title game is Bucks over Packers, which gives us a Super Bowl of the Bucks and the Ravens. And I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. I think they come back.
Tampa Bay over Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay over
Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay. I think it'll be a good game, but I think we finally, for real this time, Tom Brady comes back, plays this year, they win the Super Bowl, and then I think he retires for good. I think he wants to go out on a high note. That'll be it. This will be the last time we see Tom Brady. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, the inner Jet fan in me that just is over Tom Brady and wants to get whatever it is to get him out of the league to happen. But I don't know. I think people are reading into too many of these offseason storylines with Tom Brady, and I think they have a monster year.
This is just a joke, but be sure to save this clip when he retires after week 5 and joins the Fox booth.
I would love that. Please.
Joking.
So how about you?
Over Ravens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here are my picks. My picks for me, let me preface this by saying to any listeners, last year, both of us picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl before the year started. And for me this year, I feel it's a wide open league. Everyone loves the Bills, and I get it. The whole narrative about how, they lost in the overtime to Kansas City. This is their year. Sure. I mean, they have the roster, and they're definitely capable of winning it. And it's a smart play if you pick them, but it's the NFL. Crazy things happen. No one expected the Bengals to even win 8 games last year, and they went to the Super Bowl and basically almost won the game. So remember that when you hear my picks, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the NFC. I got the Eagles winning the NFC East. I have the Vikings, who you don't like, winning the NFC North. The Bucks winning the NFC South, and the Niners winning the West. And my 3 wild card teams are the Packers, Rams, and Cowboys. And I actually didn't go through the whole title game thing the way you did.
Okay.
But like I said, I mean, there's no reason why I can't. I'll go with something different. Well, I have my champion already. I have the Eagles representing the NFC. I love their offseason. I think they're going to have a big year, a second year with Hurts and Sirianni. I think the offense is going to be really good, adding A.J. Brown. So I have the Eagles. I'll say Eagles over, let's say 49ers. Let's say something different. Eagles over 49ers in the NFC title game. I should have actually planned that out before I did this call. That's my bad. But now for the AFC, here comes the surprise pick. AFC East champions, the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh, okay.
Love their offseason. AFC North, Cincinnati Bengals. South, Indianapolis Colts. Another surprise one, AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders, another team who I love their offseason, similar to the Dolphins, added a huge receiver and a great offensive-minded coach. I think that's going to be a big difference for both teams. And then for 3 wildcard teams, of course, the Bills. I'm not that dumb not to pick them to make the playoffs. The Chargers and the Chiefs. And for my AFC Championship game, I have the Dolphins making the Super Bowl. And let's go Dolphins over Bills. How's that? So
Wow.
I get them in the AFC title game at least. So Dolphins over Bills, AFC title game, and the Dolphins. They're my Super Bowl champion. I know you're gonna be surprised, but I have the Dolphins over the Eagles. I just love the offensive minded coach, Mike McDaniel. He's 39. He's same age as me. He's like considered an offensive genius. I think he's the next Sean McVay. Certain things I hear. Sometimes, you're probably the same way. You hear something and it kind of sticks with you. But I always heard that Kyle Shanahan, wherever he went, like wherever job he took, he always made sure this guy was with him. I think he's going to be the Sean McVay, the next Sean McVay. And I think Tua is going to have a huge year. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't know how people are going to guard both of those guys. 20-yard slants taken to the house. I think Dolphins, they already had like an established team. They won 8-9 games, but they never feel like they had the offense. But I think this is the year they go off. I tweeted my picks yesterday, and I picked up 100 Dolphin fan followers.
Love that.
who were calling me like the king and the new Dolphins king, because I'm the only one who had the guts to take them. But it's not about that. I just it's just like an instinct. It's like a gut instinct. I think it's a wide open league. I think the Bengals could obviously get back there, and Buffalo's great, and the AFC West is loaded. But you wonder if those teams is going to have such a dogfight during the year, if it's going to affect them in the playoffs. So I'm taking a chance here at Miami. I love the offense, and I think they have a big year. So Dolphins over Eagles, Super Bowl.
Wow. I'm stunned, Joe. That is definitely outside the box. No one can say that you're going cookie cutter generic here. So Tua guy, this is it. He breaks out this year. We finally see it.
I think it's all about the coaching.
Okay.
I think he has. I heard him say on the Dan Le Batard show that McDaniel said he has the most complete, throws the perfect ball, so the slant ball or something, one of those things. He throws the best ball he's ever seen. I think Tua is so underrated. I think people, again, with the whole narrative of how certain guys, the whole Dolphin situation in the past. I feel like this is a fresh start for them, and they're gonna, like you said, week one. I think they're gonna put up I see them scoring in the low 30s against the Patriots, and I think they're gonna have a huge season on offense.
Love it. Wow. Okay, so let's run through these again for with a quick recap here. For our picks, Jets, Ravens, we are both going with the Jets getting 7.5 points. The Titans and the Giants, I am on the Titans -5.5. Joe likes the Giants at +5.5 and thinks they can win the game. For our game of the week, Bucks and Cowboys, we are both on the Bucks -2.5. My best bet is Dolphins -3.5 over New England. There you go. Dolphin King. There he is. And Joe is going with the Saints -5.5. And they are playing Atlanta. As for my underdog pick, I like the Jaguars getting 2.5 points against Washington. Joe is on Cleveland. I believe that spread moved to 1.5, by the way. I don't remember if you said 1.5 or 2.5 before.
I thought it was 2.5. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Either or. It doesn't matter. We think
it's actually a good sign. It's a move.
Yeah. And as for our extra picks, got to throw them in. I'm going with Green Bay -1.5 over Minnesota. Joe is going with Seattle +6.5. Over Denver. So love it. Week one.
I can't wait for your reader comments. Hey, Matt, who's this guy? He just picked the Dolphins from the Super Bowl and Geno Smith to cover against Russell Wilson. Who is this guy? I
absolutely love it. We're gonna see how these things play out. We got a long way to go before we get to February. So hopefully,
it's amazing how it starts. Last year, I wanted to say this earlier on. I didn't want to forget. Last year, I remember the last week we did the picks. I think it was the regular season or the playoffs. We were both like, pick fatigue. We were like, week 18 and extra week this year. We were like kind of out of it. Like couldn't wait for the season to be over. But now it's like the exact opposite. I can't wait for tomorrow night and then, tomorrow night, Thursday night, and then the first Sunday, which is one of the best days of the year, sporting events, as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait for that NFL Red Zone countdown to start.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best time of the year. We're right back on the horse. So, Joe, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk again next week.
All right, Matt. Great job. Appreciate it. Thank you.